Bill Gates is sweating bullets. The Epstein files just dropped bombshell evidence connecting him to Russian girls and secret medication plots against his own wife. Meanwhile, British politician Peter Mandelson got caught red-handed sharing state secrets with that dead pedo. But here's what the mainstream media won't tell you about this elite corruption network. It's not just about perverted billionaires anymore. This is about how deep the rabbit hole goes into our power structure. We're talking about a British official feeding classified government intelligence to Jeffrey Epstein, including advance notice of prime minister resignations and $500 billion European bailouts. Think about what that means for you. These people were trading state secrets with a known child trafficker while making decisions that affect global markets, your retirement accounts, your economic future. Of course, Bill Gates claims he never went to the island, never met any woman, just innocent dinner meetings. Right. And his wife divorces him. The same guy who allegedly planned to secretly medicate his wife without her knowledge, right? These aren't isolated incidents of rich guy depravity. This is a coordinated intelligence operation where pedophile blackmail intersects with the highest levels of government and corrupt power. Speaking of never surrendering to corruption, let me tell you about something that perfectly captures the fighting spirit that we need right now. You ever see something and instantly know it's going to turn heads? That's exactly what happened when I saw these Trump never surrender gold sneakers. Now, these are not subtle, and they're not supposed to be. While Gates and Mandelson were surrendering American and British interests to Epstein's blackmail network, Trump never surrendered to the establishment. These shoes embody that defiance. Gold finish that catches the light, red, white, and blue details that scream patriotism. Never surrender printed right on the sole like a battle cry. You put these on, you're making a statement about refusing to bow down to the corporate elites. Get yours. It's linked down below, and show the world that you will never surrender to the swamp. But wait, it gets even worse. The memes are already flying. Oh, yes. I named Microsoft after my wiener. Change my mind. Oh, you gotta love the memes. You see, Peter Mandelson, he wasn't just sharing gossip with Epstein. He was providing real-time intelligence about secret underground meetings between the prime minister and defense officials. Epstein's response, talking about how the value of some chapters in your book should now increase. You see, that's blackmail language, my friends. Mandelson just resigned from the Labor Party. Oh, and the pictures? Oh, God. But, of course, resignation's not enough when you're caught red-handed committing treason. Shall we dive in? I think we shall. Oh, Billy Gates. It's true, he says. I only had dinners. I never went to the island. You see, Bill Gates is doing major damage control right now. His wife just did an NPR interview. Oh, so he immediately picks up the phone and starts doing interviews, try to correct the record from his ex-wife, the one he tried to drug, apparently.
True that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Yeah.
So he never met any women. Why is he getting all these antibiotics for his wife then? Whatever to keep her
Which
safe.
he denies, by the way. He says that was an email that Jeffrey Epstein wrote and never sent. It was...
But I want to go back. Just look at his face.
True that.
Look at his face. Look at his face. You see, you can just see it. When he says, I never went, he blinks, he closes his eyes. I mean, it just feels like he's lying right to us.
Actually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake.
Oh, it was a mistake, because denial opens the floodgates, and now we're seeing exactly what those dinners actually involve, starting with suspicious financial transactions. Now, I got sent this tweet late last night. Folks, we were all called conspiracy theorists for this one, remember? I did not want to be proven right, but it seems like we always are. We're always ahead of the curve. Hey, Grok, the screenshot appears to show a PayPal receipt where Jeffrey Epstein's assistant purchased a single $8,453 item from Wayfair. But the item itself is unlabeled. Any idea what something like that could have been? What exactly was this? The shipping address, the merchant, Wayfair, receipt for your payment to Wayfair. You sent a payment, $8,453. What was it exactly? Just no description. How does someone spend $8,453 at Wayfair, but there's no product description? The mysterious $8,453 Wayfair purchase is not random. It connects to a conspiracy theory that's about to be vindicated with hard evidence. Who remembers back in July of 2020, it was found that human child trafficking was happening using extremely overpriced items on Wayfair as a cover. It was a crazy conspiracy, remember? Well, it turns out as conspiracy theorists were right yet again. We called it in 2020, and now the Epstein files are proving them right. Wayfair's role in this network. And that's not all. Woody Allen's assistant seems real concerned with the delivery of some chairs. Several of the emails, they showed up late. Then they were referred to as a gift. Woody Allen's assistant. What is this? I'll let you know when Allen receives the chairs. Thank you again. Hi, Lauren. The chairs, are they going to be delivered today? Can you confirm receipt? Want to be able to tell Jeffrey his gift arrived. Good news. Your shipment from order 229-1958842 is on its way. You can track your package below. Tracking information. And of course, where does this come from? Oh, we're not just pulling random. This is from the Justice Department. Yeah. Did you know someone actually created an entire they cloned Google Gmail, and they dumped all of Jeffrey Epstein's emails into this kind of fake Gmail account. Jmail.world is the website. And you can scroll through it just like you're looking at your own Gmail account. But instead, it's all of Jeffrey Epstein's emails. And the creepy part is that it's like the very last emails that you see are about his arrest. People emailing him, hey, man, I'm sorry to hear you got arrested. And then, oh, sorry to hear about what happened in the cell. It's the most bizarre thing you'll ever see. A snapshot into Jeffrey Epstein's emails that you could read just like your own. I was browsing it last night and I was freaked out. But it's not just Epstein's circle, other Hollywood elites were using the same coded language for deliveries that never arrived as advertised. Digital Daisy says, remember when Wayfair was naming furniture after missing children and selling it at outrageous prices? Yeah, that was just a conspiracy. Yeah, an acrylic, a Deontay clear acrylic oval dining table, $279,000. A gold novelty floor lamp set, $175,000. Gold novelty. Minimalist, coffee table, $869. What's this? Let's dive deeper, shall we? We shall.
If you didn't know, the Wayfair conspiracy started in 2020 when people noticed something really strange on Wayfair's website. There were basic items like cabinets and pillows listed for thousands of dollars, but the weirdest part, many of these items had human names, not product names. Internet users began comparing those names to missing children databases, and some of the names matched. That's when the theory exploded. People were saying that these overpriced items weren't furniture at all, but coded listings for human raffles, we'll say raffles, where the buyer would receive a child instead of a product. But Wayfair denied everything, saying the prices were due to industrial grade items and naming conventions from suppliers. Law enforcement also said there was no evidence. But that's what you would say if you were in on it. But the mystery stuck. Why the extreme prices? Why the names? And why did listings disappear after people noticed? To this day, some believe it was a coincidence. Others think it was a mistake that exposed something far darker. And that makes me wonder, what does Wayfair actually do? Stay weird.
What do they do? I don't even know. Here, you can see some of the pictures. Right here. Annabelle Wilson, missing since 2020. Oh, but here's an Annabelle shelf for $10,000. Another one. Semyon, 17-year-old, missing from Columbus, Ohio. And Simya, Simya, 5-shelf cabinet storage, $12,000. Yeah. A Yaritza Castro, missing since June 10th of 2020. Oh, here's a Yaritza storage cabinet for $13,000. Here's another one. Dupless zodiac sign constellation, $10,000. Missing person. Another one. Missing. Kaya Coleman. Missing since January 25th, 2020. 16 years old. But here's a shelf. $12,000. A shelf. You see what's going on here? Missing. Endangered. Mary Durrett, age 16. And here's a Durrett zodiac sign astrological constellation for $10,000. Coincidence? You tell me. The pattern is undeniable. Overpriced furniture with children's names wasn't just coincidence. It was a systematic operation. Apparently, Wayfair's still doing it. There's no way this cabinet sells for $9,487. If you notice, these overpriced cabinets are always the ones with only a few left in stock. Ultra Maga says they're bidding on a child and want people to know there's only 1 or 2 left. 2 left in stock. For that. $10,000, please. But now we're moving into the personal scandals that are destroying relationships. Melinda Gates responding after Epstein file suggests Bill Gates got an STD from Russian girls and planned to secretly medicate her. This was on NPR.
Emails in the files suggest that Bill Gates had additional affairs and that he tried to get medication to treat a sexually transmitted infection and that he was going to give you the medicine without you knowing. His representative has said all of this is false. It is not on you to have to respond to the details of that alleged behavior, but I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles with these details.
sad. Just unbelievable sadness. Unbelievable sadness, right? And again, I'm able to take my own sadness and look at those young girls and say, my God, how did that happen to those girls, right? And so for me, it's just sadness for, I left my marriage. I had to leave my marriage. I wanted to leave my marriage. I had to leave I felt I needed to eventually leave the foundation. So it's just sad. That's the truth, right? And it's kind of like, at least for me, I've been able to move on in life.
Bill Gates' wife. The STD allegations aren't just gossip, they're documented evidence that shattered Gates' marriage and exposed his secret affairs. David Wolf writes, Bill Gates to Jeffrey Epstein, preparing for pandemics. Let's discuss the next steps, for example, how to officially involve the WHO and CDC. I hope we can pull this off. This is the email. Jeffrey Epstein, please find the attached draft agenda for meeting on preparing for pandemics as requested. Let's discuss next steps, for example, how to officially involve the WHO and ICRC. Best regards, hope we can pull this off, preparing for pandemics. But the personal scandals are the tip of the iceberg. These files reveal Gates and Epstein were planning something much bigger together. Bill Gates caught STDs from Russian girls he slept with, apparently, says James Goddard. Bill Gates slept with Russian girls, got a sexually transmitted disease, and asked for antibiotics to slip in his then-wife, Melinda. Oh, and here's a picture of Bill and a redacted female in a hotel. You can tell by the background. What is this? Is this an airport, maybe? Is that a TSA agent? Hard to tell. But those carts are generally seen in airports. Oh, I see what this is. Uh-huh. Ha ha ha. You see what that is behind him? Signature flight support. He is, okay. Now, I've flown private jets before. I've been to these private terminals. Signature is a private jet terminal. They have them, they're outside of the traditional terminals you see at the airports, usually on the opposite side. During the pandemic, I had the luxury of being able to fly private, thanks to a very generous viewer of this program who allowed me to continue my operations using his private jet. That's how I know what this is. So this is not a hotel, and that's why the TSA agent's in the background. He's a private jet terminal with an unknown person. Now, what private jet terminal? Who uses private jets? Well, the Lolita Express, of course. Right? And here we have Bill Gates with an unidentified female in a private jet terminal from the Jeffrey Epstein files. Ready for takeoff, sir. And we have your escort waiting. The STD story gets worse. Gates wasn't just cheating. He was allegedly trying to medicate his wife without knowledge. We posted this the other day. Newly released Epstein files include a 2013 email where Jeffrey Epstein alleges his relationship with Bill Gates ended after a request to delete emails referencing STD antibiotics to be secretly given to Gates' wife. This is the actual letter that was sent, the email. Now, it does say at the top, from Jeffrey to Jeffrey. Dear Bill, I can't believe you've chosen to disregard our friendship. You implore me, please delete the emails regarding your STD. You requested I provide you antibiotics. that you can surreptitiously give to Melinda and the description of your penis. So, why would Jeffrey send an email to himself? Because Jeffrey wasn't a moron. He was documenting the conversations. Moving right along. Get the page to load back. But you just saw it. Jeffrey Epstein sending emails to himself, documenting the story. I named Microsoft after my wiener. Change my mind. Newly released Epstein files are drawing renewed attention after a 2017 email surfaces linking Epstein and Gates, including discussions about creating pandemic simulations years before COVID-19. The timeline leading up to COVID all makes sense now.
Anything kills over 10 million people in the next few decades, it's most likely to be a highly infectious virus.
If we get an airborne pandemic, if we haven't built ahead of time some structures to deal with this, millions of people could be adversely impacted.
But also there will be a surprise outbreak. The next administration, that there's no doubt in anyone's mind that they will be faced with the challenges that their predecessors were faced with.
Pandemic prevention and preparedness is going to end up being, whether the administration likes it or not, a priority, a top priority.
Trump is now president. When he faces his first major epidemic, as his predecessors have, he will likely project his impulsivity, xenophobia, and cavalier attitude towards facts to over 52 million followers.
We may yet again have another pandemic, and it is almost inevitable that we will have another pandemic.
Welcome to Event 201.
Of what's looking like it will be a severe pandemic.
A new coronavirus.
Why don't we blow the system up and then say, hey, everyone in the world should get this new vaccine we haven't given to anyone yet?
But it is not too crazy to think that an outbreak of a novel avian virus could occur in China somewhere. We could get the RNA sequence from that and print those vaccines on a patch and self-administer.
Need I say more? The pandemic simulation timeline is now connecting dots that powerful people hope would stay buried forever. Howard Lutnick, did you know, member of the administration, actually lived next door to Jeffrey Epstein. Here's what he had to say about the guy.
Jeffrey Epstein was your neighbor. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about him. East 71st Street. He was your neighbor for 10 years. How well did you know him?
All right. So we are in number 11 and he lives in number 9.
Right.
So we renovate, we buy our house, and our house is pigeons and mice.
Right.
Okay. It was derelict.
Right.
So we rebuild our house. We move in 2005. Okay. Jeffrey Epstein is arrested in like 08, I think, or something like that.
Right. Right.
So knock on the door. His assistant on like a Saturday says, Mr. Epstein, your neighbor would like to invite you over for coffee. So my wife and I go next door. We walk the 7 steps,
yes,
right, to the next house for coffee. We share a wall.
Right.
Right. So it's in New York City. So he invites us in. We have coffee in this, and he says, do you want a tour? We said, great.
Interesting.
He's got a really big house.
Every room you went into?
He's got, well, I'll tell you. So his house is like super big, really wide. And so he gives me a tour in the living room, big living room. And then across from it is double doors. I assume it's the dining room.
Yeah.
And he opens the doors and there's a massage table in the middle of the room.
Ooh.
And candles all around and stuff. So I ask very insightful, cutting questions. I say to him, massage table in the middle of your house? How often you have a massage? And he says, every day. And then he gets weirdly close to me.
Ooh.
And he says, and the right kind of massage.
Ooh.
Now my wife is standing here. So she looks at me and I look at her and we say, I'm sorry, we have to go. And we left. And in the 6 or 8 steps it takes to get from his house to my house, my wife and I decided that I will never be in the room with that disgusting person ever again. Really? So I was never in the room with him socially, for business, or for even philanthropy. If that guy was there, I wasn't going because he's gross.
Oh my God. When your neighbor calls you gross, but billionaires keep visiting, there's only one explanation, according to this insider. Melinda Gates seems very relieved to have left the sinking ship. She left Bill in the foundation and dismisses everything. But is that correct? While she was in the BMGF, Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, numerous crimes against humanity have been performed. Can she walk away from that so easily?
No girl should ever be put in the situation that they were put in by Epstein and whatever was going on with all of the various people around him. No girl. I mean, it's beyond heartbreaking, right? I remember being those ages those girls were. I remember my daughters being those ages, right? So for me, it's personally hard whenever those details come up, right? Because brings back memories of some very, very painful times in my marriage, but I have moved on from that. I purposely pushed it away and I moved on. I'm in a really unexpected, beautiful place in my life. So whatever questions remain there of what I can't even begin to know all of it, those questions are for those people and for even my ex-husband. They need to answer to those things, not me.
Well,
and I am so happy to be away from all the muck.
I wonder what your dominant emotion is when you read these news articles.
Melinda's escape from the Gates empire may not be as clean as she hoped. Her timing is now raising questions. Sharbelita official, a picture in the Epstein files, has finally forced out Peter Mendelsohn, who's been allowed to resign while remaining in the House of Lords. Scandal after scandal. You ready for this picture? Yeah. You ready for this? I'm warning you. Caught with your pants down. Literally. Caught with your pants down. Now, where was this picture taken? Well, it was in the Epstein files. Literally. Like, you let this guy take a picture of you in your freaking underwear, and you're with a woman whose face has been redacted in Epstein's house. Peter Mendelsohn just became the first major resignation from these files, but crimes go beyond just knowing Epstein. So there's proof now. Peter Mendelsohn emailed Epstein with early heads up of Gordon Brown's resignation, $500 billion bailout to save the euro in 2010, both before the public knew. This is open and shut stuff. Mendelsohn is going to jail. Here's the email. Yep. I have faith the value of some chapters in your book should now increase. Finally got him to go today. Mendelsohn wasn't just partying with Epstein, he was leaking state secrets and profiting from insider information. Former British government minister Peter Mendelsohn has resigned as a member of Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Labour Party after new reports of his ties with disgraced U.S. financier Epstein, media reports said.
Former British government minister Peter Mandelson resigned Sunday as a member of Prime Minister Keir Starmer's Labour Party. That is after new reports surfaced linking him with disgraced U.S. financier Jeffrey Epstein. According to reports by the BBC and other news organizations, Mandelson said in a letter that he did not wish to cause, quote, further embarrassment to labor. He said allegations about financial payments to him by Epstein were false, and he would investigate them. Starmer fired Mandelson as Britain's ambassador to the United States last year. He came under scrutiny after U.S. lawmakers released documents, including a letter in which he called Epstein his, quote, best pal. Mandelson was a key figure in the Labour Party's electoral success when Tony Blair was prime minister, starting in the 1990s. But he was twice forced to quit as minister over allegations of misconduct. He later served for a time as European Union Trade Commissioner.
Just one down. Reuters confirms what we've been reporting. Mandelson's political career is over, but the criminal implications are only beginning. And then we find out this. Leonardo DiCaprio needed to make some money in 2009. So where does he go? Jeffrey Epstein. Epstein then contacts Peter Mandelson for non-U.S. sponsors for the megastar. DiCaprio's connection shows how Epstein was the go-to guy for celebrity financing, with Mandelson as his political fixer. Mario Nafal writes that the Epstein files include a photo of Lord Peter Mandelson, former UK ambassador to the U.S., in his underwear alongside a young woman in a bathrobe. Mandelson claims he has no recollection of the photo or any connection to Epstein, despite files showing Epstein wired $75,000. The underwear photo of Mandelson is the smoking gun proves everything. $75,000 in wire transfers don't lie. Bill Gates claims the Epstein files, emails suggest he got an STD from Russian girls, were false.
No doubt seen the allegations, including some of them from the last 24 to 48 hours. Are they true?
No, apparently Jeffrey wrote an email to himself. That email was never sent. The email is, false. So I don't know what his thinking was there. Was he trying to attack me in some way? But, it just reminds me, every minute I spent with him, I regret and I, apologize that I did that.
The problem is some of the things that he has sent and some of the information about other people that has come up in those files has been true. Why would he do this and say this about you, do you think?
It's factually true that I was only at dinners. I never went to the island. I never met any women. And so, the more that comes out, the more clear it'll be that although the time was a mistake, it had nothing to do with that kind of behavior.
Is it frustrating to you, given what you've said, that this is now happening?
Not really. I mean, people should, hold people who are successful to a very high bar. And so, it's, as these documents come out, they're going to be closely scrutinized.
Okay.
I never met any women, he says. Oh, but I'm going to go back to that picture. Where's the picture? The picture of him in the jet. Oh, I never was with any of those women. But he's in a private terminal in the Jeffrey Epstein files. So who are you going to believe? Yeah. Oh, yes. And the picture here, taken inside Jeffrey Epstein's Paris flat. So here's the smoking gun everyone's missing. Epstein's email signature contained a legal disclaimer about attorney-client privilege and inside information. It wasn't all casual friendship. It was a formal intelligence operation. Mandelson was feeding classified state secrets to a convicted pedophile who was running a blackmail ring for foreign intelligence services. That is the definition of treason. The Epstein network wasn't just about sick billionaires and underage girls. It was an intelligence operation designed to compromise and control Western leaders through blackmail. Gates can deny the Russian girls and secret medication plots all he wants, but the emails don't lie. Mandelson can claim no recollection of his underwear photos, but his resignation speaks louder than his denials. These people sold out their countries for access to Epstein's network of power and perversion. The question isn't whether they're guilty. The evidence is overwhelming. The question is whether justice will finally be served, or if the establishment will protect its own, like always. Do you believe Bill Gates' denials about his Epstein connections? Let me know in the comments. And don't forget to check out the Next News merch shop for gear that shows you'll never surrender to elite corruption.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this shared. Share this now.